Liberty Nation. Truth is making a comeback.
Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation's Liberty Nation TV. I'm your host, Mark Angelides, and I'm joined today by the mind and drive behind the People's Charter Foundation and Make Britain Great Again campaign, Mr. Luke Nash Jones. Now, Luke has kindly joined us to discuss something that is under a full media blackout in the UK right now: the arrest and imprisonment of free speech activist and citizen journalist Tommy Robinson. Firstly, thanks for being here, Luke. Could you tell us a little bit? We're very grateful to have you on. Could you tell us a little bit about Tommy and the circumstance of his arrest, please?
Tommy is a very passionate activist in Britain who is speaking out against the paedophilic epidemic in this country. There's a massive problem with grooming gangs who are abusing girls across the country, and because they're generally from a certain religious and racial background, it's frowned upon to speak about this. It's deemed as politically incorrect, and those who do speak about this are generally harassed and shut down. Now, what's happened to Tommy is about a year ago, he was reporting on the steps outside of a court, and because he was standing on the forecourt, technically, this is very pedantic, they're being very awkward here, they said he's in contempt of court. Now, technically, there is such a law, but I was looking through the guidelines of Channel 4. We could compare that to MSN or CNN, one of those sort of networks. Some would call it fake news. But they said in their guidelines that they'd advise their journalists not to stand outside the court because of the law. But this law, they also noted, is never enforced. But when it came to Tommy, it was enforced. So that's why we feel this was politically motivated, because he'd spoken out about the grooming gang problem. Now, the other day, he went back to another court to speak out against the grooming gang problem in Leeds, where many girls have been abused as well, and he was charged. Now, he was being very careful there. Alex Jones of InfoWars pointed this out as well. He used the word alleged, the word accused. He didn't want to actually say these people had committed a crime. He was being very cautious because of the wording of the last case. I read through the notes. He was trying to avoid being charged again. He also did not stand on the forecourt. He was just walking up and down the road. So they weren't able to charge him with contempt of court, for which they'd previously given him a suspended sentence. Now, a suspended sentence means he breaks the law, he's going into prison, where he likely will be killed. So what they did instead was charge him with breach of the peace, which implies he was about to start a riot in the street. And that clearly isn't the case, because if you watch this live stream, he broadcast for about an hour, and you look up and down the street, it's almost empty, it's raining, nobody's there, no riot was about to occur in the street. This is clearly looking like just an excuse to lock up somebody that's highlighting this massive problem we have of Islamism in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to my admittedly uneducated eye that the arrest here is pure government tyranny. What do you think?
That is how we see it. We see that free speech is being attacked. We don't have the same laws that there are in America. We may be the country where the ideas of liberty came from, people like John Stuart Mill, but these ideas were better exercised in America, which is one of the reasons people went to America and declared independence. Yeah. Where here in Britain, we don't really have this notion of free speech. It's very easy for the government to clamp down on political ideas they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, how did Britain even arrive at this point where reporting on a major issue like this, it's become essentially an imprisonable offence? How did we arrive at this point?
We do have a lot of laws in Britain that do restrict freedom of speech. We do not have a free media. It is entirely controlled by the government. In fact, one of the main channels in our country, BBC, which would be the CNN on steroids, it's far more extreme, far more openly communist, is actually owned by the government, and we're under compulsion to pay a tax to watch any TV which funds the BBC. That's totally different to what happens in America. All our main TV channels, including also ITN, that's run by a government department, the Department of Culture. A lot of our TV network, a lot of our radio broadcasting is owned by the government. They totally control what the people see and think. And that's why what you and I do and all the other alt media networks, people like InfoWars, are very important, because they're getting out the message which the people can't hear in Britain.
Yeah. I mean, Luke, you managed to get a free Tommy rally up and running in literally a matter of hours, which, for those of you who haven't seen it on the social media, it marched on the Prime Minister's official residence at Downing Street. Can you tell me how many people attended? What was the mood like?
I can't give you an exact figure, but standing on the plinth, the platform from which we spoke out to the crowd, as far forward as I could see, every single direction, there were many people. There were clearly thousands there, and they came out very quickly. We just put a notice up. That day he was arrested. We're absolutely frustrated with this because we feel that we have lost our freedom in Britain. These are causes we very passionately believe in, and we like what Tommy did, and we were absolutely shocked by this. So we just put a post up calling for people to come out, and it was great to see how that quickly went viral, and so many people are showing that and getting involved, retweeting it. People are contacting me and saying, I'll come along, I'll speak. Different members of the European Parliament, particularly UKIP members, have contacted me. So Gerard Batten did, Janice Atkinson, and these people came out and spoke. Raheem Kassam shared it and flew over, the former Breitbart editor from America. So it was great to see so many people come out, because this is something we really passionately feel about in Britain. And the passion there was incredible. I got halfway through giving the opening speech, and the speech didn't finish because the crowd was so angry. They just stormed across the road. I didn't ask them to do this. And then they were shaking the gates of the Prime Minister's house. So that would sort of be the White House in America. They grabbed the gates. They were shaking them. There aren't police there, but people are so angry. They were climbing the gates and they were poking the flags through, the English flags, and shouting. That was so much anger then. The whole road became blocked off. There were buses coming down the road. They just had to stop, and they were stuck there for hours. And the people just sat in the road, and the police came with the riot bands, and for about 3 hours, nobody moved.
That's amazing. On a far more positive note, for you viewers at home, Luke is setting up a pro-Trump rally for July the 14th to coincide with the president's visit. Luke, could you tell us a little bit more about this and how our viewers can help out?
Well, in London, we have a massive problem with multiculturalism, with a lack of integration and the collapse of British culture. And at the moment, we have a mayor called Sadiq Khan, who is having an absolute tantrum about the fact Donald Trump's coming to visit. He doesn't like that at all. We have people such as Owen Jones. We could perhaps associate him in an American context. Would be something like the Huffington Post. He's screaming and crying, a massive soy boy. And he said he's going to have a massive protest up the street, and he's going to block the road or whatever and stop Trump coming. And you're going to have all these people from the Labour Party, which is like the US Democrats on steroids. They're all going to be out there. We've also had the leader, the Speaker for the Parliament, which is the Congress in America, has said that he's not going to have Donald Trump give a speech there, which is incredibly insulting. America is one of our biggest trading allies. America came and defended us in World War II. We have this long history there. And in a cultural sense, we are the same family. We speak the same language. We have so much in common. And it's just rude to stop the democratically elected president of America coming over. So we're going to rally together, all the people from Make Britain Great Again, the Football Lads Alliance and the Democratic Football Lads Alliance, all coming to march with us. And we're going to just walk up the road with the veterans from the Parliament, just to give the finger to John Burke, who said Trump can't speak, across one of the bridges which the terrorists recently targeted to show them that we will not cower, and up to the US Embassy. And we'll have speeches to make very clear that we think Donald Trump should be welcome, not just because he's the American president, but we also strongly believe in what he's doing. He's standing up for Western civilization, which is totally lost in somewhere like London, which we now call Sadiq hole.
Setting up a rally like this isn't free. We need to have a good stage for the speakers to stand on so everybody can see them. We want to have a good PA system, a good sound system so everybody can clearly hear, because there's a big crowd of thousands. The sound needs to travel far. We want to have a big TV screen so people at the back can see the speakers. Now, all of this costs thousands. So we're really begging anyone in America if you could help us to make sure that we have a good welcome for Donald Trump. So we set up a crowdfunder on Indiegogo, the link's below. If you'd be able just to share a couple of dollars, it all adds up. It will help us to have a good welcome with lots of British and American flags, MBJ hats. And you can also click there on Indiegogo and get an MBGA hat, Make Britain Great Again hat, if you would like as well. You're more than welcome to.
All right. That's been wonderful. Thank you ever so much, Luke Nash Jones. We appreciate you being here with us and sharing the information, and we'll chat again very soon. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your support and help. Thank you very much. Make America great again.
Britain needs you. We must ensure there's a big, positive, patriotic welcome rally for Trump when he comes to London in July. Let's drown out those noisy tantrums by Owen Jones, Sadiq Khan and their soy boys.
We want Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump! We want Trump!
Join the DFLA, the Veterans Against Terrorism, and members of the FLA for Britain's biggest ever patriotic rally. We need a stage and a sound system for speakers, a screen to make sure that the speakers are seen, and lots of banners and flags. This costs thousands though. Please chip in and help us, and we'll see you there on the 14th of July.
Make Britain great again!
Liberty Nation. News and commentary, minus the propaganda. LibertyNation.com